Hello, it's Nicolette, and if you want to finally become fluent in French, this video is for you. If you're one of those people who took 3 years of high school French and still somehow the only thing you can say is omelette de fromage, this video is also definitely for you. I'm going to go through the 4 things that you can do to finally actually learn French, and you can do this for free at home. And trust me, it's going to be a lot more effective than high school French class. These will be most effective if, before you even start, you ask yourself the question, why do I want to learn French? Do you love French films and you want to be able to watch them without the subtitles on? Or maybe you have a crush on a French person and you want to impress them in their native language. Also a totally valid motivation. Whatever the reason is, it's just important to figure out what your motivation is so that if you're thinking about giving up, you can remind yourself what you're working towards. Real quick, if you want to look elegant and stylish on your language learning journey, today's your lucky day. Because I have partnered with a brand that I absolutely love, Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa makes affordable, carbon-neutral jewelry that is just so unique. I mean, can we take a moment to appreciate this astrology necklace? If you know me, you know I love astrology, so I had to get their Capricorn necklace to rep my Capricorn sun. They have necklaces for all the signs. I paired it with their heritage set, which is so versatile. And what I love is that all of these necklaces are adjustable, so you can change the length based on what outfit you're wearing it with, what pieces you're pairing it with. That is just a feature that is mind-blowing and so cool. Like, I don't think any of my other jewelry is adjustable. Even their bracelets are adjustable. This is the Dylan set, which honestly I have not taken off since I got because it is so versatile and matches literally anything I own. But honestly, what I love about them is not only do they have really unique, beautiful jewelry, they're also sustainable. Ana Luisa is climate neutral certified, so they offset and reduce the amount of carbon that they emit. Their jewelry comes in cute, reusable cotton pouches, plus they ship internationally and have a 365-day warranty, meaning they will refund or replace any jewelry that does not meet your expectations. If you want to get your own Ana Luisa jewelry for yourself or as a gift for someone, I've included a link in the description of this video so you can get a unique discount code and save some money on their honestly already very affordable jewelry. Their pieces start at $39, which is incredibly impressive considering how high quality this jewelry is. So make sure you click on that link in the description and check them out. All right, now let's learn some French. The first thing is you need to overdose on French media. What do I mean by this? Basically, you need to Frenchify your life. You need to start getting your brain to think and live in French. You need to be listening to French music, French radio, French podcasts. If you're watching a movie, have it be a French movie. Same goes with TV shows. If you're reading the news in the morning, try reading the news in French. If you're on Instagram, follow some French people on Instagram. Same goes with YouTube or Twitter. Basically, any kind of media that you're consuming, figure out a way to make it French. Even if you don't understand 75% of what they're saying, you're still priming your brain to get familiar with the French language. You're listening to the cadence, the rhythm, the accent. Trust me, it's doing something. Now, if you're, let's say, listening to French radio or French podcasts and you just understand absolutely nothing, then I would start with something slower or something that is specifically tailored for French learners. So something like slow news in French or coffee break French. But eventually you'll be able to move away from these kind of slower, learner-focused podcasts into real French media. Plus, let me tell you, listening to French music and radio and watching French TV shows is a great help with the culture aspect as well. Let me tell you, when I moved here, French people were very impressed, shocked even, at the amount of French artists and bands and movies and TV shows that I knew about. And it was all because of doing this first thing, which is consuming a lot of French media. The next tip is find the repetition. This is something that I discovered in my own learning process, and it made such a difference. I found that if I was reading a French book or French news article, continually there would be these certain words or phrases that would just keep coming up. So when I was reading, I would have a dictionary or just Google Translate open on my phone. If I found that I was continually looking up a certain word or phrase again and again, because I kept forgetting it, I would make a note of that and I would make sure to write that word or phrase down. I kept a notes app in my phone for these words that either seemed really important or that just kept coming up again and again. If I ever had downtime, like I was waiting for the bus or I was in line, I would just pull out that notes app and I would kind of like scroll through it and look at a couple. You could also make these eventually into flashcards on a flashcard website or old school with index cards. It's really the words and phrases that continually come up that are the most important. You can do an entire vocabulary lesson on animals, but unless you're working on a farm or in a zoo, you're probably not going to need to use the word turtle or lion on a daily basis. What's most beneficial is to focus on vocabulary that you know you're going to use on a daily or weekly basis. You can generate lists online of the top 100 or 500 most common words in French, but you can also create a list specifically for yourself. If you're really into surfing, look up surfing vocabulary. If you're an artist, look up art vocabulary. If you work in a coffee shop, look up coffee vocabulary. Basically, you want to be finding the words and phrases that you continually use in your own language that you're going to need to use when speaking French. So figure out what those words are, translate them, and make a list. Possibly one of the scariest but most important things when learning a language is speaking. And trust me, the first time that you go out in the real world and you start speaking French, anything you learned in a textbook or with flashcards is going to suddenly be all jumbled and like fall all over the place, and it's going to be hard. Trust me, it's happened. And it's totally normal. So that's why it's important to practice actual speaking and interactions and using the French that you've learned. So how can you do this? Well, there are a ton of options. You can see if there are any conversational meetup groups, either in the area that you live or online. If you really want to be an overachiever, you can also look for conversational French classes. I've found them at my local community college or through companies like Coucou French, which does both in-person and online classes. There are also apps specifically made for finding a language learning buddy, like Tandem or HelloTalk. And I've actually used pen pal sites to find French-speaking pen pals. I made a video about how to find pen pals, so if that's something that interests you, you can check it out for more information. But yeah, I did find multiple French pen pals, and after exchanging a couple emails, we actually hopped on a Zoom call and were able to have a conversation in French together. I know that speaking to a native French speaker can be really, really intimidating, but it's not something to be afraid of. In my experience, French people are usually really excited that you're learning their language. Just as a side note, do keep in mind that French people in general are not afraid to correct you. But in a language learning journey, that's a good thing. I get schooled by the local woman at the bakery on a probably weekly basis. Un croissant, une baguette. But I'm thankful for that. So yes, make sure you actually use your French in a real-time speaking situation. I know this is potentially a step that people are gonna skip over and be like, oh, I don't need to do that. You need to do it. You were hoping it would not be on the list, but yes it is. Grammar. I get it. You hate grammar. I hate grammar. Heck, even French people hate grammar. I cannot tell you the amount of French people I have talked to and had conversations about how even they don't really understand the subjunctive sometimes. But it's really important to have an understanding of grammar to become fluent in any language. I personally find it really difficult to motivate myself to do grammar. So I discovered that I personally need a physical book. It's not online. I don't have the whole internet waiting there to distract me on my computer. It has clear explanations, exercises, and then an answer key at the end. And that's just personally what I needed. You can easily find grammar books or French books at your local library, so you don't even have to spend money on this. Or if you can log onto a computer and actually study grammar without the World Wide Web distracting you, there are so many places to learn and practice grammar online. You can find sites online that have grammar exercises and even grammar games. If you take the time to understand passé composé or the future tense, when you are reading a French book or a French article, you're gonna at least recognize those tenses, and that's gonna help you so much. You don't have to spend a huge amount of time on this. It doesn't have to be hours of your day, but know that it should be part of your language learning journey. Let me know in the comments if you have any advice or resources for learning French, or if there's a specific topic you want me to cover in an upcoming video. And remember to click on the link in the video description and use my code for Luisa Jewelry. Bon chance on your French learning journey.